Welcome to on tonight's Clubhouse Live, we welcome the Gravedigger, Gilbert Brown, to our bye-week show. We'll get Gilbert's thoughts on the Packers' big win over the Panthers, and Aaron Showtime Jones continues to rewrite the record books. We'll explain. Plus, we have a six-pack of questions as part of tonight's Clubhouse Live challenge. It's time to get started, so let's open the doors.
Hit it, hit it.
All right, here we go. Gilbert's already staring me down. I'm a little nervous, the big guy. I'm not sure what that was all about, but welcome back, everybody, to the Clubhouse Sports Pub Grill. We're inside the Red Line Hotel Paper Valley. We're in snowy, cold, freezing downtown Appleton, Wisconsin. But I know you guys are feeling good, feeling warm, feeling fired up after what happened yesterday, right? How is everybody doing? Hey, first things first, let's give it up to tonight's door openers. We got one kid and one kid at heart. It's Jacob and Mean Gene right there. There they are. Easy, Mean Gene. You're going to hurt the kid. That towel's getting a little close. All right, and there's always a party pooper in the crowd. I have to introduce the other member of our Clubhouse Live crew. It is Chicago Bears fan, Ricardo Arguello.
That's right.
Let him have it.
Hey, are you going to give me the full 60 seconds this time?
Yeah, you have to do the. That's right. Everybody, if they're aware, Ricardo has insisted we do the Bears minute.
It's
60
in the
seconds.
contract.
Hey, congratulations, 2013 victory over the Lions, but they almost lost to Jeff Driscoll? Who's that?
That's a backup quarterback. You guys should know about beating backup quarterbacks.
Okay.
See where I go there?
Yeah, good one there.
Yeah.
Okay, you got 60 seconds to talk about the Bears. Go. Hurry up.
All right. First off, they're back on the winning track. All right. 4-game losing streak out of the way. Now they're back to coming back. You never give me 60. Always 10.
Man, look at that.
Learn to
Technical
count.
difficulties, please stand by. That means we're done with the Bears minute, right? We're done.
All right.
And instead, we're going to talk about Packers 24, Carolina 16. You like that? Credit the defense for coming up with a goal line stand as the final seconds ticked off the clock to preserve a key victory for the green and gold heading into the bye week. Packers running back Christian McCaffrey was stopped just inches from the end zone, and the Lambeau Field faithful celebrated in the snow as the Packers rebounded from that ugly loss to the Chargers, now 8-2 on the season. How about Aaron Jones again? That's our co-host. He rushed for 93 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 13 touches. Meanwhile, Jamal Williams added 63 yards rushing as the Packers finished with 163 yards on the ground overall. How about Devontae Adams' big night for him? 7 catches, 118 yards. Preston Smith and Kevin King led the way defensively. Smith with 2 sacks, now has 10 on the season. How about 9-1? And Kevin King, I don't know if you know this, 9 tackles, including 1 for a loss, 2 pass breakups. A much-needed bye beckons for the Packers, who will rest up, get ready for that big Week 12 showdown coming up against the 49ers. And look at this, it's Happy Vince. Happy Vince. He loves it when the Packers wins, and he loves it when one of his Super Bowl champions is here. It is the Gravedigger, Gilbert Brown. The former Packers nose tackle is our special bye-week guest. Of course, Gilbert Ricardo, one of the key members of that 1996 championship defense. Remember that? We're going to talk about that with Gilbert here in a little bit. First things first, though, let's give a shout-out to our presenting sponsors. Superior Discount Liquors, a full-service liquor store with the area's largest selection of liquor, wine, and beer. They also take special orders on hard-to-find items with locations in Green Bay, Manitowoc, and Sheboygan. Stop in today, would you? And then Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Check out Wednesday Night Wins this fall at Potawatomi. Play with your club card now through November 13th. That's coming up for your share of $250,000 in total prizes. More at paysbig.com/fallwins. Ricardo, Everybody
Yes.
wants to hear how the show works.
Yes, well, this is how it works. It's an interactive show, so we invite your comments and questions to our live chat, which can be found online next to our online video viewer, I should say. Jen Zettel Vanden Hooten is monitoring the chat and will relay your comments and questions to us.
Yes, Facebook.com/Clubhouse Live. So if you're watching or out there, give us a like, please, and give us a follow. I'm at PC Bretzi. He's at PC Ricardo. She's at Jen Vanden Hooten. And the Gravedigger is at Gilbert Brown. So because it is now, Ricardo, a two-team race in the NFC North. It is now officially a two-team race. I got the Vikings welcome mat on the stage because I know Gilbert Brown hates the Vikings. I don't want those big feet to stomp all over that ugly logo and that ugly color. So let's get at it. Our guest tonight spent all 10 of his NFL seasons with the Green Bay Packers. He played in 125 career games with the Packers. He was one of the game's top nose tackles during his era, wasn't he? Our guest tonight was part of perhaps the greatest defensive line in team history when he teamed with ends Reggie White and Sean Jones and fellow tackle Santana Dotson in leading the Packers to their first NFL title in 29 years, right? That Super Bowl 31 win over the Patriots. Our guest tonight plugged the middle of that Packers defense in 96, that allowed, by the way, the fewest points in the league at 210. He finished with 56 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble in 96. He also tied a career high with three sacks in 97 as the Packers advanced to Super Bowl 32. Our guest tonight is a proud Kansas Jayhawk. He's a proud member of the Packers Hall of Fame, and he is now a podcast star, too. Give it up for Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer, number 93, Gilbert, the Gravedigger, Brown. Oh, here we go. He won't even touch this. Won't even stomp on it. Yes, sir. Welcome, my friend. He didn't even want to touch the Vikings welcome mat. He just grabbed it with his finger and his thumb and whipped it out of his way like he was a quarterback, Ricardo. I love it. Welcome to the show, big fellow. Look at this guy. How about Gilbert Brown? He's looking good.
Now I remember this show because you got this idiot over here on the microphone.
Easy now. Let's be nice.
Yeah, hey, but I make it memorable, Gilbert.
I forgot, and then I said, yeah, that's the short guy right there.
Short guy. You're right, Wilt Chamberlain over here.
Let's be nice. Let's all get along. The Bears have had a rough season for the guys, so
I'm loving it.
We're easing off a little bit.
You know that universal chant that they have, the Bears still universal, baby.
Yes. Mean Gene, he's all about the Bears still suck. Hey, before we get started, though, Gilbert, a programming note. Aaron Jones, Showtime, our co-host this season, he is on his bye week. He will be back next Monday, though, right, as we get ready for the stretch run. He's enjoying his bye, a vacation from us, and a vacation from Ricardo, no doubt. Aaron Jones, by the way, now tied for the league lead in touchdowns with 14. How about that? 6 away from tying the franchise mark of 20, which was set by Amon Green, your buddy, in 03. Aaron Rodgers giving Aaron Jones a little MVP love, too. I think that, weren't we talking about that a couple weeks ago here? I think Aaron Rodgers, clearly a fan of the show. He's been watching the show, obviously, if he's starting to talk about Aaron Jones for MVP. But good to have you here. And let's start this off the right way. It is Veterans Day. Do we have any veterans in the house here? Any veterans? Stand up. Raise your hand. Stand up. Give these folks a round of applause. Thank you, and thank you for your service, everybody. And anybody online who's a veteran, thank you so much on this Veterans Day. Of course, Aaron Jones' parents are retired sergeant majors of the U.S. Army, so we've gotten a chance to meet them. So good way to start it out. Let's talk about this podcast stuff you got going on, right? You are now a podcast star, a multimedia legend, Gilbert Brown, the Gravedigger. It's called the Packer Report Podcast with Gilbert Brown. Features you and Packer Report publisher Ross Uglum. I think I'm saying that right. You call him Ugg. I've listened to a couple of those shows. You talk X's and O's, but you're doing some fan stuff too. You kind of get off on tangents. It's a fun show, not just about football, but you can find it on Stitcher and Spotify, and it says here should be available on Apple Podcast this week. You can always find new shows as soon as they're available on PackerReport.com. So how often, Gilbert, do the shows come out?
Well, we try to do 2 a week. It's a pretty cool show. You know, like you just said, we talk about football and movies and cars and girls and
yeah.
You know, our big thing now is that you know, I'm a big movie guy, so King Kong versus Godzilla is coming out in March. So
Queen Kong, I think you said.
yeah, he gonna get a beat down.
Yeah.
So if you're on Team Godzilla, hello. If you're on Team Kong, go with Ricardo over there.
He's not a King Kong fan. He likes Godzilla.
That's right.
Why the interest in doing a podcast? What got you into it?
You know what, man? You know, they put the pretty boys on TV and they put the big uglies on the radio, so you ain't got to look at it. That's how I got on there, I guess.
How you enjoying it?
I like it, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where now you got to be somewhere so you can get service and be able to talk. And I didn't know about, you know, you got to have a certain microphone, and it's different.
It's fun. I've listened to you have 2 shows out right now. I've listened to both. They're really good. Ross does a nice job as well moderating it.
Yeah,
so.
Ross is a good dude, man. He's the type of a guy. He's probably the X's and O's guy, and I'm just
You're the
the
entertainment.
comedy relief guy.
You're the entertainment. You're the one that people actually want to listen to.
I hope so.
Yes. So check it out. We'll talk a little bit more about it more, but find it again at PackerReport.com. It is really good, very entertaining, and I've enjoyed your 2 shows so far. You also, I got here, you host a tailgate party before every home game at Stadium View Bar and Grill, don't you? And you brought along guys like Santana Dotson, Earl Dotson, Sean Jones, Amon Green, Dorsey Levins. What's that all about? So this is before every home game? You're just hanging out with the fans?
Yeah, just before every home game, we have a little tailgate party over at Stadium View Bar and Grill. It's a very exceptional place. I mean, they remodeled everything over there. They got upstairs and downstairs and side stairs and all kind of stairs, you know. But it's a cool atmosphere, man, and it's a premier place where you want to go before the game, be able to get something to eat, be able to see your Packer legends, and have a good time.
Have a good time. Sounds like a good time. What are you going to get number 4 on the show or at the tailgate party, right?
Who?
Number 4, Brett Favre, your quarterback.
Man, Brett Favre don't come out there like that.
Boy, come on. He's retired. He's
I
got
mean,
some free time.
you know, he too busy, man. He got stuff to do.
What? Mowing the lawn, swimming, riding his bike? Are you kidding me?
Him and Jerry Rice, they doing a lot of commercials together. So.
Yeah, I guess so. So, you know, some guys, when they retire, they sort of disappear, do their own thing. But you're staying out there. You're a man of the people, aren't you? You're doing these podcasts. You're here tonight. You're doing the tailgate parties. Why do you keep out there?
Well, I mean, I got my foundation, which does over 156 different children's charities, and that's something that that's something that I really like to do. But the amazing thing about that is I can pick up the phone and all the guys come running, and it's that part because we miss the locker room, we miss the camaraderie, we miss being able to be close to each other. So anytime something like that, if somebody has something, everybody try to get together. We're doing a good cause, but we also seeing each other, make sure everybody okay.
Man, I bet those stories just get bigger and bigger and more embellished as the years go on, right?
Oh,
when
absolutely.
you guys get together.
Absolutely, especially the ones that they can't hear.
Yeah. It's like catching that fish. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger all the time. I mean, you're doing alumni.
Right.
You're doing alumni appearances for the team. I don't know. Do you feel like you're kind of an ambassador to the Green Bay Packers and that organization?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would just say, like, you know, it's good to be still out there and doing things, but it's good to see the fans, you know, because the fans, when they saw me, they thought I was this big, ugly monster, you know. I always say TV never did me no justice, you know. They put you in that white jersey. You got roles you ain't never seen before.
Yeah.
You're like, can we wear our green jerseys today? No.
White jerseys showed everything.
Oh,
didn't they?
white jerseys show everything. And we can't wear no girdle or nothing, so it's like.
Hey. You got the ring, though. You got the
ring.
ring.
Yeah, we got the ring, which is nice. The ring is something that we work so hard for. I never wear mine. I like to look at it, you know, so I got to ask my mama, can I see it? So,
She's got it, right?
yeah, mama got it.
Hey, you got a lathered up table right over here, so just be careful of these guys. Yeah, here we go. It's an internet show, right, Ricardo?
Yeah,
Anything's fair game. Hey, you ever think about, you mentioned seeing the fans and being part of the organization and all this good stuff, but you ever think about just that you are a part of the legend now? You're right, a Super Bowl champion, a key member of that 96 team. You ever think about that you're legendary status, right? You're one of the 13 championship teams. Does that mean anything to you?
I wouldn't say, I don't look at myself as a legend because when you walk through that Packer Hall of Fame and you see those guys, Ray Nitschke, Jerry Kramer, Bart Starr, Paul Horner, to me, them are legends. Them are legends. Just like it's Veterans Day, and I always say that people look at us as being some type of hero or something. We're not. We're comic book guys compared to these guys that's being honored today. And I really, and every chance I see a veteran, even if it ain't today, I always salute him. I saw this guy out in the hallway, and I said, thank you for your service. Because they need to be thanked every day because this air that we breathe is because of them.
Yeah, another round of applause, yeah.
You too, Mean Gene. You look spooky, man. I don't want to see you in no dark alley.
Couple more things, and I'm going to Ricardo for our first audience question.
We don't have to.
Yeah, we got to keep him busy. We got to keep him busy over
Ricardo, can you get a step ladder so I can see you?
Oh, and easy now. Just relax.
Ricardo ain't whooping me.
We don't want to fight here. We don't want to fight. We don't want animosity. But hey, on your podcast, though, this is pretty cool. You said in the old, you remember the old building? And I've been actually, I know where you mean. There was a hallway that had the championship banners of the years that hung like on the ceiling. And you said that the hair on the neck would stand every time you walked under there. That was motivation for you guys, wasn't it? To see those championship banners back in your day. You knew that you were playing for something kind of bigger than maybe just yourselves, that you were part of this rich history.
Absolutely. I mean, over the years, things have changed, you know. But just being able to walk through that hallway, but also to sit in your locker after a practice or getting ready, and that was one of the first times I met Ray Nitschke. And to see that guy, you know, and to be able to shake his hands, which was like bricks, you know, that right there is tradition, you know. And I always say, like, for Jerry Kramer, anytime he's in town or anytime I'm close to him, I go see him because to me, he's a Green Bay national treasure. You ain't gonna get no guys like that no more. And just to be able to be next to him and understand him, it's kind of like the first time when I got to Green Bay and from that other place. And
right, yep.
Seeing Reggie White, because you know he's so great, and being able to stick to him like a sponge because even when he's not teaching you, you're learning by watching and how he carries himself on and off the field, and it makes you want to be that person every day.
Yeah, very good. Good stuff. You also said that that G stood for greatness. That's what you guys on the helmet. The G stood for greatness. So I know for you guys,
actually, we got a G for greatness. Chicago got a C for cowards.
Whoa, whoa!
I think you took too many hits to the head there.
I'm on him tough because all we heard this summer was they the number 1 team. They're gonna do this, do that.
And you took that personally?
And now you at the bottom of the barrel.
No, we're third.
That's the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
It's only 4 teams, and the last one go meow.
Yeah. Well, I still say you took too many hits, my friend. But anyway, are we doing this?
Yeah, let's calm this riot down here for a second. Let's calm it down. Let's go to Ricardo. You've got an audience question.
Yes, this is Ray from Nina. Ray, your question for Gilbert.
How do you like your free time in the season and out of the season? In the season, out of the season.
How do you like your free time in and out of the season?
Free time.
My free time?
What are you doing now? Yeah.
My free time sucks because I don't get to choke nobody no more. Guy like me miss football, man. So, you know, we can't just walk up down the street and grab some dude and shake the hell out of him.
That's a good point.
I can do Ricardo, though.
Hey.
I think everybody would like to see that.
I'm right here, man. I'm right here, man.
Let's move on. We're not promoting or advocating fighting right now or choking people. But we're going to do this, Ricardo. We're going to take tonight's stat pack. Stat pack time. That'll calm everybody down, won't it? As mentioned earlier, Aaron Jones, 3 touchdowns yesterday in the win over the Panthers. In doing so, he becomes the first player in franchise history with 2 games of at least 3 rushing scores in a single season since the great Jim Taylor right there on the famed Packers sweep. Jim Taylor did it 3 times in his MVP season of 1962. Also, of Jones's 14 total touchdowns, 11 are rushing scores. Also, those 14 touchdowns by Jones are tied for the second most in Packers history through the team's first 10 games. How about that? The great Don Hudson, 17 touchdowns through 10 games in 1942. Think about that. That's crazy. That's according to the Elias Sports Bureau, which was passed along by Packers Vice President of Communications, Jason Wallers. Ricardo.
Yes.
Let's keep it calm now. We're doing trivia.
Yes, and
relax.
here's some of the rules for the trivia. We'll ask a question. If you think you know the answer, you got to raise your hand. Please don't shout it out. If you're correct, you win what, Brett?
I'll say pizza and beer here at the clubhouse. Grizzly Dan loves it. Yes.
That's right. And once you win, you're out for the rest of the show. And sorry, live chatters, you got to be here to win. But again, Jen, she's handling our online trivia contest.
I feel like this is almost an all-out brawl about ready to erupt. We got to keep it calm. Grizzly Dan screaming about stuff now. I mean, everybody's all in a lather. So here we go. Trivia question number 1. There's only one team left in the NFL that has yet to win a game this season. Who is it? Oh, the guy right there at the bar? Cincinnati. Give him the pizza and beer, Gravedigger. I'll give him the bell. The Cincinnati, Ricardo, the Bungles. The Bungles, they're terrible. Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals now 0-9 after getting thumped by Baltimore yesterday, 49-13. So I don't know if the Bungles are going to win a game. Unbelievable. They're really struggling. It's not the Dolphins anymore. They're winning. The Jets. The Falcons beat the Saints yesterday. So
Wow.
Hey, let's talk a little bit more with Gilbert Brown, shall we? The Gravediggers here tonight. Now, we had this question, and I'm just going to put it out there because you are synonymous with a certain burger, right? Somebody wants to know if you can remember what was on the famed Gilbert burger. Do you remember?
I remember. It was about tall as Ricardo.
Anyway, about the
lots
burger.
Of cheese,
about
lots
the burger.
of cheese, lots of vegetables, so you can get your
your roughage.
Yeah, you got to get your roughage. You got to get all that, but it's also it was sloppy. You know, you got to have a napkin or a towel or whatever. You know, and try to cut it in half if you could. But if not, then you got a big hamburger that covers your face.
There you go, the Gilbert burger. Wasn't that was it Burger King? Wasn't
Burger
it?
King,
Yeah.
BK.
A potential sponsor, Mike Cruz, Burger King. Here we go. So this is, you mentioned that other team, right? You mentioned that other team. But when I say to you, Gilbert Brown, Minnesota Vikings, what do you say back? What do you think? The very first thing when I say the Vikings.
Barney.
Barney. Purple. Ugly. A big old dinosaur with an empty trophy case. Even Ricardo can appreciate that. Yes. If folks don't know, Gilbert Brown drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. 3rd round, I believe, out of Kansas. And then that fall, they released him. And quickly snapped up by the Packers and ends up being an anchor.
Everybody says released. I don't think I was released. I was waived.
Waived, okay.
Yeah. But they wanted me to come back. So I went to my hotel, and Dennis Green, God rest his soul, told me, I want you to go to the hotel for a couple of days, but we bring you back. So in a amount of 15 minutes, then I was a Packer.
They called you that fast, huh?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. Ron Wolf.
Mr. Ron Wolf.
Mr. Ron Wolf, Pro Football Hall of Famer, right?
Yes,
Who,
sir.
Rebuilt the Packers.
Awesome individual.
Yes. So, why did it work in Green Bay? Why didn't it versus Minnesota?
Well, I mean, it was Green Bay and Minnesota is two totally different atmospheres at the time. I don't know what it is now, but because at that time they had a great defensive line. They had Chris Dolman, Henry Thomas, John Randall. Being able to come across and play in Green Bay, and the thing that stuck out with me with Mr. Ron Wolf was one day I was sitting in my locker and I didn't wear 93 when I first got to Green Bay. Maybe that could be a trivia question. Maybe somebody can tell you that. But I was sitting in my locker and Mr. Wolf walked in and he says, Gilbert Brown, I think you're going to be a player one day. I think. He said, if you had an opportunity to wear a number, what would you want? And I said, well, 93, that's my number. You know, I wore it all the time. So he said, I might can do something for you. So he walked out, and next day in my locker was a 93. So I said, if that dude got that much confidence in me, and with his track record, I'm going to get this man all I got. And that's what happened.
There we go. The Gravedigger move, right? How did that come about? Do you remember the first time you actually did it in a game? And who coined that term?
University of Kansas, first time I ever did it, I swung my leg up too high and I fell on my back.
Really?
And it was about 55, 60,000 people, and all I heard was my mama laughing her. So the first time I did it in Green Bay, I was kind of like, man, if I mess this up, it's more people in here. But I did it, but to be coined, who gave me that nickname was Reggie. Reggie gave me that nickname.
He's the Gravedigger.
Yeah, so.
The great Reggie White. Been gone a long time now, hard to believe. And I just was thinking about it. It's been a number of years now. I think it was December, too, when he passed away.
We had Reggie and Wayne Simmons.
Wayne Simmons, yeah.
And Fritz Sherman.
Right, your defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Fritz was the man.
Yeah, he was. He had a nice, heck of a coach and heck of a defense. He coordinated in '96. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But staying with the Gravedigger, current Packers linebacker Zadarius Smith. He tried to do the Gravedigger move, right? I don't know if you guys saw that. He sacked Phillip Rivers and did it. And you kind of tweeted back to him a little bit that maybe, hey, thanks for remembering, keeping it alive, but maybe needs a little work. So out of 1 to 10. What are you going to rate to Zadarius Smith's Gravedigger move?
I just told him, I said, we just got to work on the delivery.
Yes.
You know, when I did it, I mean, it was crazy. I could feel the energy when I did it, you know, because it was a build up to it and a finish. And actually, for some reason, when he did it, I felt like I did it. So I jumped out my chair. I shot my leg up. He didn't shoot his leg up. I said, hey, man, I dropped my wings on the floor. But I tweeted out to him. I told him, thanks for the love, brother. I appreciate it. You know, it's keeping the Gravedigger alive, so thank you very much. And
he responded that he'll clean it up a little bit. He's working on it.
Yeah, I think we're going to do a little one-on-one Gravedigger.
Get that leg up a little bit, right? Mean Gene, show me the Gravedigger. Get a camera. Dan Powers. Get up here, Mean Gene.
Don't hurt yourself, Mean Gene.
He was doing it before the show.
Don't hurt yourself, Mean Gene.
Come on, Mean Gene. Let's see the Gravedigger. There you go.
Give it up, Mean Gene.
Yeah. Huh? How about that?
Mean Gene on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being greater, 0.
Oh. You got to work
on it a
little
bit. But I love
you,
but I give you an 8, Mean Gene. I give you an 8. I give you an 8.
That's Mean Gene's Gravedigger move. So, all right. What do you miss most about the game? Did you see the camaraderie? Was that the biggest thing you missed about it?
I don't miss training camp.
Yeah.
No.
The hits?
Don't miss that. For the most part, it's being around the guys in the locker room. You know, some people think you just show up on Sunday and play the game, but it's like a job. It's a 9 to 5, almost really 7 days a week. You know, and being able to be around a group of guys like that, you know, and And like I said, it's like being with your brother. Sometimes you're going to have disagreements. Sometimes you're going to love each other. Sometimes you might need to go out in the back and slap your brother around a little bit. I've seen that a lot. But at the end of the day, when we get in between those lines, we are one whooping one.
Yeah, did a lot of that back in the 90s. What are your thoughts on today's game, Gilbert? Yeah, a little watered down, right? Man, a lot of rules in place now, a lot of flags, all this nonsense.
Can you say pissed off on?
Yeah, it's an internet show. I mean,
you know what pisses me off is they take care of everybody but the guys that really mean something to the game. And I'm talking about the offensive and defensive line. O-line, D-line, they just started the game. They just start. You can have 12 little dwarfs out there and have Aaron Rodgers behind him. He would get murdered. You know what I'm saying? But if you got this offensive line we got right here, he is king. You see what I'm saying? And people forget that. So when they sit around talking about don't touch the quarterback and do this, outlaw the chop blocking for the big fellas so that we can play 12 years, 14 years. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. We are expendable. Everybody else, the cute boys, the running back, Mr. Jones, the running back, all the little pretty boys, they got rules for them. But for us, we're expendable, and I want that to stop and change.
There we go. Very vocal. What do you think of today's tackling, right? This is different than when you played, right? You see these guys now, they're leading with their head still, with their shoulders. You know, that's not how you guys were taught to tackle. You guys taught head up or head high, right? Wrap up. I mean, what?
Well, I mean, it's a different game, man. I mean, the practice preparing, which for them it's better because they playing longer. Okay, I mean, you got to give up something to get something. Mm-hmm. But back when I was playing, I mean, like, I could take my elbow and run through that brick wall right there, and it wouldn't faze me. Hmm. But the way these guys practice now, if I do that, it's gonna hurt because, like I said, when you give a little to be able to play longer means you gotta back up. So when guys start getting hurt and they start looking at the trainer, well, why this guy is getting hurt? Why this guy does? Because they don't practice like we used to practice 24/7 hard. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't know how many, like somebody was telling me they only got 17 or 18 padded practices throughout the year. Yeah. We hit every day. And training camp was twice a day. I mean, who do you know gets up and you're hitting at 8:30 in the morning? My bones don't wake up at 8:30 in the morning. And you had to do that for a straight month. So, I mean, it's totally different. To me, that's why the guys are they get hurt more, and they're the way the tackling is because they don't have the time to correct them. You got to worry about the X's and the O's.
And there you're seeing the sloppiness and all that stuff. How about Gilbert bringing it tonight, right? Good stuff so far.
I'm going to try to get on TV. They're going to let this big ugly on TV one day.
Well,
I'm working on it.
You're on a lot of TVs right now. I know a lot of people hook up and watch the show on their big screens. So 8-2, the Green Bay Packers, right? They're in first place, NFC North. Gilbert, what do you like about this club, and what concerns you about this club right now?
It's kind of like I said. I always say last year, if we stop discount double checking and play football, we'll be pretty deadly. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoy watching these guys play. I really love Kenny Clark's game. I love that kid. He and the two Smith brothers, they pretty damn good too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I like the middle linebacker, Martinez. He's tough, you know. Offensively, you know, we got a physical, athletic offensive line, you know. Everybody know about all the little pretty boys running around. I ain't gonna talk about them. I like talking about the guys that do the dirty work, that make the pretty boys look good. And them guys, if we keep all them guys healthy, we're 8-2. We got a tough game coming up with these 49ers. I don't know where the hell they came from. I really don't. We used to beat them like they stole something.
Yeah, that was yep.
Ooh, we enjoyed whooping them.
Yeah, you had your.
They
way
was
with
pretty
those guys.
boys. We loved whooping them. Yeah.
One of the best games I saw. I actually covered that game way back in the day. Was your game Monday Night Football, 1996 at Lambeau Field, overtime win. I think it was 23-20. Chris Jackie hit the field goal to win it.
Who?
Chris Jackie.
He's a kicker.
What did I say?
Yeah, Chris Jackie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going. But Don Beebe had like a 200-yard night that night.
Yeah.
It was just that was a
He was a
electric atmosphere.
fast
Yeah,
one,
he was.
Don Beebe. He was smoking. But that was a good game, man. Anytime we played them, because we knew Mike Holmgren was from there, so it was a little additive inverse on that game because he always wanted to look good. We always wanted to look good, and back then it was like we always wanted to be a part of the big three. You know, it was Dallas, Frisco, and who else is coming up.
Right.
And that third was going to be us, and we was going to overtake two, then we was going to overtake one.
Yep, and you did. And you ended up winning the 96 Super Bowl, got there in 97. Of course, in 95, the divisional game against the 49ers, that was probably when
That was our coming out party.
That was your coming out down over at
Nobody
San Francisco.
gave us a chance to go up into San Francisco and win.
And you did.
But we had a trick for them, though.
Yeah, and I remember, was it Wayne Simmons who harassed Brent Jones for most of that?
Beat him down. Beat him down. I was just like, I kind of felt sorry for him, to tell you the truth.
No, you didn't.
It's like, Wayne, stop it. No.
Good stuff. Back to the current Packers, though, but you look defensively, though, has had trouble stopping the run. Now, you're a guy, though, you plug the middle, you help stop the run, but you look right now, if you're the defensive coordinator, Packers 25th in the run defense right now, allowing almost 127 yards per game. Overall defense right now, based on yardage, 28th in the league right now. So if you're the defensive coordinator, if you're Gilbert Brown, defensive coordinator, how are you going to try to fix this a little bit so that it tightens up for the stretch run? How are they going to?
That's kind of hard to say because I don't want the defensive coordinator mad at me. But to tell you the truth, to me, I don't like the scheme. I mean, I always said that, you know, in order from the world I come from, you got to have 4 hogs up front, and then beat them into submission. You know? But you know, if you got 2 big guys and 2 little guys on the outside, and you got 1 linebacker up there, it's so fast for the offensive lineman to get up there to that 1 linebacker and wall them off, and you're off to the races. Or if you even if you put 2. The angles, this game is about angles, and we give up too many angles. You know, we got the players to play. We just got to figure out to put those pieces in the right place so we can kick somebody's tail.
Good stuff, Gilbert. How about this? You got a couple more snaps in you, right? Let's get him back on the field for a few more plays. All right? You and Kenny Clark side by side.
I'm going to let Kenny do all the work, though.
1996 Green Bay Packers as we wrap up, and I'm going to kick it over to Jen here in a second for our social media question of the night, talking about the defensive schemes as well. But 23 years already, Gilbert. We're almost nearing a quarter of a century from when you won that Super Bowl.
Yeah, everybody getting old.
Time going by, isn't it?
Yeah, man, everybody getting old. It's just one of those things where, you know, I sit around and I see Leroy and I see all the other guys walking around and stuff, and you know, I used to say, hey, man, you know, they used to joke on me because of how big and fat I was or whatever they want to call it. And I look at them now and say, hey, man, you trying to catch me, ain't you?
There you go.
Y'all boys trying to catch me, ain't you? It's all in love.
You calling Leroy out, Ricardo. Did you hear that? Little weight gain stuff there. But,
Great
you know,
player.
What made that team so special?
Being able to... if one guy go down, the next guy would step right up. Being able to, when we played, we made sure that everybody was on the same page. The backups, we also harped on 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams. we all is one team. And when we all had that together and everything was clicking, and you go back to that 96 Super Bowl year, we was number 1 in offense, number 1 in defense, number 1 in special teams.
Yeah, pretty tough to beat a team when they're number 1 in all 3 phases. That's called complementary football, I think, what they call that.
Absolutely.
You look at, we mentioned that, 456 points scored, led the league that year, 210 points allowed, led the league. Of course, Desmond Howard, we all remember him, right? Super Bowl MVP. You guys scored no fewer than 30 points over your final 6 games and allowed no more than 21. Average margin of victory over that span was nearly 24 points per game.
Defense didn't get no respect.
Well, Ricardo, and you agree with this, you're very complimentary of that 96 team.
Well, I said the 96 Packers should be considered one of the top teams ever. Not like the 85 Bears.
Oh, easy. Now listen.
But no one gives you guys the respect you deserve, though. I think they should be one of the top teams. They never are on the list, though. I don't know why.
I think Gilbert's right on. I think that your defense is vastly underrated. It was dominant. I mean, you had Gilbert Brown, Santana Dotson in the middle, and then Reggie White and Sean Jones on the ends, and then you had Wayne Simmons.
I'm gonna tell you what our nickname was as a group. Fritz Sherman used to call us 3 Oaks and a Stump. So you can figure out who the stump was.
Yeah. Well, it worked. I mean, you think about your linebackers, you had Brian Williams, Wayne Simmons, and Brian Cox, actually. He was one of those guys.
It was George Kuntz.
George Kuntz, yes.
Before he got hurt.
Yes.
Ron Cox, I think it was.
Ron Cox.
Ron Cox.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Doug Evans in the back.
Evans, Craig Newsome,
Leroy
and Eugene Robinson. Leroy and Eugene Robinson were 2 of the smartest persons I ever known.
Yeah.
I mean, we would watch so much film, and we trust him so much that Eugene would yell out, "It's going to the right." Everybody just start running to the right and blow it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what you talk about when you know your team and you know your teammates and you know how much preparation they put into the game. You don't second guess anything.
Mark Pryor, another guy that came
talk
about steady presence in the back end, that safety, number 39, yeah.
Yes.
All right, it is time. I'm going to go over to Jen Zettel. Sorry to keep you waiting there, but we got wrapped up in memory lane there. But you got our social media question of the night.
I do. So tonight we have folks tuning in from 15 states as well as the District of Columbia. Mm-hmm. And tonight's question comes from Brian Buby on Facebook. He'd like to know, if you were a defensive coordinator, would you run a 3-4 or a 4-3 defense, and why?
You kind of answered that, I think, a little bit. But, yeah, go ahead.
Definitely 4-3. Definitely 4-3 because if you set it up, or if you use my defense, for example, and you got me at the nose, you got Santana at the 3 technique, if you know what that is, and then you got Reggie White and Sean Jones on the outside, my job is to flush the rabbit out, which is the quarterback. And then the 2 bookends are going to devour that rabbit. Now, if the rabbit is slick enough to get past them 2, then they got Mr. Dotson to contend to. And if for so happily he slip and misses, then I finally get a sack.
Yeah. You had a few of those back in the day.
And it's hard when you got one dude got 700 sacks and the other guy got 800, and then you got one that got about 500, and there I am with 7.
7 career sacks, but you still got it. So 4-3, there you go. There's his answer. He wins something, doesn't he, Jen?
He does. So for having his question selected, Brian wins a signed photo of Aaron Jones. Each week, we'll ask you to submit a question for our upcoming guest that we'll ask live during Monday's show. Look for it on facebook.com/Clubhouse Live.
All right, thanks, Jen. And Ricardo, now it's your turn. You are doing trivia question number 2 as
That's
we take
right.
another
I need
time out.
both you and Gilbert to look out to see who raises their hand first. Remember, don't shout it out. Raise your hand. We talked about the 96 Super Bowl champion Packers with Gilbert Dorsey Levens and this tight end who had been traded to the Packers from the Dolphins a season earlier, led them in 96 with touchdowns with 10 apiece.
Gilbert, this table right here, front and center. Yes, sir.
He was first.
Who do you got? Keith Jackson. Gilbert, give him the pizza and beer. Remember him? Number 88, I believe he was.
From Oklahoma.
Yeah, Keith Jackson. He didn't want to come to Green Bay. Remember that? But he ended up being
Reggie convinced him.
Reggie. Having Reggie on the team was big in many ways, on and off the field. But that 1996 season, actually, Jackson came to Green Bay in 95. 96 was his final season. You get to see him very much?
Yeah, he got some stuff coming up. I'm going to go down and I think he got some stuff coming up in New Orleans. I'm going to go down. But when you see that and you got two big tight ends like that, Mark Chmura and Keith Jackson, who you going to cover? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and we're attacking the seams and we attacking the dump balls and different things. That's when you know you had a complete offense.
Yeah, what an offense. Tough at all levels, incredible. So, hey, we need Lois. It's your turn because it is time for tonight's, I should say, Clubhouse Live Challenge. Come on up, Lois. Rosie, how about some music? Come on up, Lois. Right between me and Gilbert here. You might want to stay a little bit closer to Gilbert. That's your playing partner tonight. It is time for tonight's Clubhouse Live Challenge. Now, this is what we call this game, Ricardo, six-pack, right? This is a rapid-fire game in which, Gilbert, you have 40 seconds to correctly answer 6 questions about the Green Bay Packers. 40 seconds.
Why am I answering the questions if she up there?
Because you're playing for these great prizes that I'll explain here in a second.
You get to win the prize?
Yes.
If I get it right, I'm sorry, babe.
6 questions, 40 seconds. Now, if you do so, you win the game and prizes for tonight's contestant. If you don't, poor Lois is going to have to go home with Ricardo and eat chili with noodles. Yes.
It ain't chili, that's spaghetti.
Chili with noodles. That's a Wisconsin thing. At any point you're stuck on a question, by the way, you can pass and we'll come back to it. Now, this is what you're playing for, Gilbert. If you get this right, look at this. Speaking of 96 and Brett Favre, this legendary book. She's going home with that. That should be a good prize. A signed photo of Showtime, Aaron Jones. How Grizzly Dan, right? You have one of these now, a USA Today Network Wisconsin ice scraper. It is that time of year, unfortunately. And, of course, our MVP CD by Eric Lives Here, Mike Thiel, our hit song, MVP. That's the stuff. Now, again, if you don't win for her, she and Ricardo are going to have chili with noodles after the show. That's just the way it works. So here we go. 6 questions, Gilbert. 6 questions. Ricardo will keep track. Do not start the clock until I completely finish the first question. Now, Tony Fisher has the record.
Who?
Tony Fisher. You know
Who was
Tony.
That? Who was that? Never seen him
before.
before.
You know Tony Fisher. 25 seconds he got done. Johnny Gray.
I ain't gonna beat no 25 seconds.
Johnny Gray very good as well at this game. So here we go. Trivia question number 1, 6-pack. Ricardo, wait till I finish the question. Who scored the game's first touchdown in Super Bowl 31?
No,
Andre
Rice.
Yes. Pat Shurmur, the nephew of your former defensive coordinator Fritz, is the head coach of what NFL team?
I don't know.
Giants. Go.
Yeah.
This former
That's
teammate was inducted in the Packers Hall of Fame with you.
Frank Winter.
Yes. Who led your 1996 team with 8.5 sacks?
Reggie.
Yes. Who caught Brett Favre's first NFL completion?
Himself.
Last one. Your first career sack was against this quarterback.
Man, I don't know.
Team? Say Randall Cunningham.
Yeah.
Yes, Ricardo. What is it? 38 seconds. She gets the bell. Just got it in. I don't know how Gilbert figured it out at the end, but Rosie, some championship music. He goes, look at what Lois is going home with tonight. The book, the signed photo, the CD, and the USA Today Network Wisconsin Ice Scraper. How about a round of applause for Lois and Gilbert, the Gravedigger? Congratulations. Boy, Ricardo, that was close. 38 seconds. You don't remember your first career sack was a 19.
No, I'm surprised I got that one.
I looked it up. I looked through your game logs. That was it against Philadelphia, I think, in 1994. And Randall Cunningham.
Surprised I caught Randall Cunningham. Did he slip, fall?
I don't see the highlights of the video. I just saw that you had a sack.
My pride was chasing and catching Barry Sanders. All them other dudes.
Here's what probably happened. You had Sean Jones and Reggie Wade. They probably funneled him inside, and there you were, and you just boom.
Santana Misty.
Yep.
And I got it.
You got him, and that was it. And you did your Gravedigger move as you said.
There you go.
The great
There you go.
Randall Cunningham. Hey, before we get to our second audience question, I've got some gifts for you, Gilbert.
Hey.
Some man cave stuff for you to take back to the Detroit area. Is that where you still live in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Doing your stuff over in Michigan. Get this on the board, Rosie. Look at this. Classic 3-point stance by the Gravedigger. Look at that. It's on the monitor there behind me. Look at that. Look at you right there.
That's form.
That's form, and there's a some Gilbert burgers there, it looks like, too, there back in the day. Who's going to run past you? There's nobody's going to run past you there. And check this out. I thought this was a cool action shot. Look at the Gravedigger taking on two guys, two 49ers, the offensive lineman, and I can't tell if that's the quarterback or the running back. Two guys, and you take them both down. How about that, huh? Look at that.
That might have been that Monday night game, right?
That might have been.
Monday night game.
No chance you're taking them both down. Look at that. You're left.
I love beating up on centers like that. Look
Yes.
It's so cute.
Yeah. I don't think he was thinking it was too cute at that time, but that's how you play the game of football back in the 1996-97 seasons. Ricardo.
Yes.
You got a familiar face here.
Yes. Hey, he was the door opener. This is Jacob from Appleton. His question for Gilbert. Jacob, go ahead.
What was it like to play with Reggie White?
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was a treat, and I always say that he led by example. He led by this. He led by that. And I was one of those guys. We were playing down in Arizona one time. It was like 120 on the turf. It was hot. Everybody was sweating. I was bent all over, and I was just like, guys, somebody please come get me. And I looked down the line, and Reggie White standing up there tall with his hands on his hips. I said, God damn. So I had to stand tall and put my hands on my hips and get ready for the next play.
Reggie White, the leader of that team. Thank you, Jacob. The Minister of Defense, right? Number 92, the great Reggie White. Hey,
Yes.
let's talk about your foundation. You kind of mentioned it before. It's gilbertbrownfoundation.org. Again, from the website, if you look it up, your mission is to serve youth in an environment that promotes structure and life skills awareness by introducing team building skills and promoting diversity in the communities. You mentioned over 156 children's charities this guy's foundation supports here in the state of Wisconsin. You give your foundation a plug and tell all these people all the great work you've been doing with that.
Well, we hook up with a lot of different organizations too. Waco Campground Association really helps my foundation out by putting us in front of a lot of people to entertain and do what we need to do. But one of my pride and joys is that we do a inner city football camp in Milwaukee. And it's 3 days. I'm there all 3 days. We feed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's totally free for the kids. The inner city kids don't have an opportunity to do the $200 and $300 football camps. So I opened it up for them. I've been doing it for like 14 years, and the great thing about it is that the kids from year 1, year 2, they'll come back and talk to the kids that's sitting on their knees now. And like I said in my podcast, everybody can't be a professional, but you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be a policeman, you can be whatever you want to be and have an opportunity to be a great person in society. And for the most part, most of those kids come back in the military.
Really? Oh, interesting. How about the work he's doing with his foundation? That's fantastic. One more thing, you're still involved with anti-bullying, right? I remember I think we talked about that a few years ago when you were here. What's going on with that? I think you're teamed up with Generations Against Bullying.
Well, it's to the extent that doing bullying and being able to understand how it affects people. Sometimes it'll make you cry, you know. Being able to tell a kid to just walk away doesn't work anymore, you know, and being able to tell these kids and let them understand that it's not just you guys. Your parents can be going to work and being bullied as well. It's not just this, that, or the other, but it's an ongoing battle because the compassion is gone in this world, period, you know, and a big guy like myself, if I can tell somebody I love them and hold my head up high and be able to talk to you fans and tell you guys that I can do that. But there's a lot of people that can't. There's fathers that send their sons to school and say, beat him up. You know, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Social media not a good thing either. Certainly
absolutely not.
Adding to the issues of bullying right now.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, it's a sad note, I guess, in the way to end it, but let's liven it up. How about Gilbert Brown tonight, everybody? What a great job the Gravedigger has done. We're winding down. We do have time for trivia question number 3. I will ask it. The Packers and Panthers hooked up in the 1996 NFC Championship game at Lambeau Field. Who did the Packers beat in the divisional playoff 1 week earlier that set up that championship showdown? Yeah, come on up. The 49ers, one of our veterans here. Give them the bell. Yes, Gravedigger. Green Bay tops San Francisco 35-14 on a rainy, cold, and muddy day at Lambeau Field. I covered that one, too. That was quite the day.
Awesome.
And had to get brand new turf for the NFC Championship game.
That was awesome.
Awesome game, and that's what Lambeau Field football is all about. And then you had that mini ice bowl the next week against Carolina. So a little bit of everything. Normally we would do up north, but there is no game this week, so nothing to pick, right, Ricardo? So why don't you tell everybody about the Packers News app?
That's right, with exclusive commentary, insider analysis, and award-winning photos and videos from USA Today Network, Wisconsin's Packers coverage team. The Packers News app is your one-stop shop for complete coverage of the Green Bay Packers. This app is available for iPhone and Android users only.
All right. Hey, special thank you to our sponsors again, Superior Discount Liquors. Check them out in Green Bay, Manitowoc, and Sheboygan, or find them online at superiordiscountliquors.com. Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Play Wednesday night wins with your club card now through November 13th. More at paysbig.com/fallwins. Mayfield Sports Marketing, right? Mark Mayfield, the leading Wisconsin sports marketing agency and speaker bureau. Escort Limousine Service, the preferred limousine service of the Green Bay Packers. And, of course, our friends here at Red Line Hotel, Paper Valley. Now, we'll make sure that these actually get into the regular bucket. This is our Clubhouse Live football bucket that Gilbert and I will be throwing these footballs out here in a little bit. A quick plug for the Ultimate Leap. Lambeau, check this out, Gilbert. This is a cool promotion. This gives somebody a chance to do an actual Lambeau Leap at an actual Packers game. Something that you dream about all the time, right? Could you imagine yourself doing a Lambeau Leap? No, you can't imagine that. You can enter to win awesome Packers prizes and the ultimate game day experience by getting to do the leap at on the December 8th game at Lambeau Field. Enter today at theultimateleap.com. We also, again, have information on your tables, I believe. And one more plug for your podcast. Tell everybody where they can find it.
Absolutely. Guys, if you ain't got nothing to do and you're driving to work and you want something to listen to, turn on the Gilbert Brown podcast by the Packer Report and check it out.
Yes, check it out. Available on Stitcher and Spotify, and should be available on Apple Podcasts this week. You'll find new shows as they are available on PackerReport.com. We always give our guests the final word, so what do you have to tell these great fans before we sign off, Gilbert?
I always tell everybody if you behind that Packer train and you pushing it and the wheels fall off, keep pushing. Get the guy back there to put it back on, because we're going to the Super Bowl, baby.
Oh. There you go. Hey, keep those claps coming for the Gravedigger, Ricardo, Jen, and the rest of the Clubhouse Live crew. I'm Brett Christopherson saying so long. Be back here next Monday night at 6:30 as we get ready for the stretch run. As our co-host returns from his bye week, Aaron Showtime Jones will be here. You looking forward to that, everybody? All right. In the meantime, Mean Gene, take it away.